Hi everyone, my name is Joanne Varni, and I'm going to guide you through a floor practice to open up the tissues, open up the spine, open up the hips and shoulders. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. You'll need for our practice today a mat, and then I like having a blanket on my mat. It makes it a little bit easier to move, and it might be a little more comfortable because we'll be on our back for most of the practice. So as you're ready, let's make our way onto our back. And we're going to start with the knees bent, and you can have the knees and feet hips distance apart or maybe a little wider. If it's comfortable for your shoulders to move into a cactus position, then that's what I would suggest if that's comfortable for your shoulders. If it's not, you can bring the arms straight out to the side or even down by your side. But it's nice just to get some attention into the shoulders straight off the bat. You can bring your gaze up towards the ceiling or you can close your eyes. I'd like you to have your eyes open for most of the practice if that's comfortable for you. It just changes the way the brain translates the movements that we're doing, and it helps with healing of the brain and neuroplasticity and healing of the body. So having the eyes open can be extremely beneficial. But if that's not comfortable for you, then go ahead and close your eyes if you need to. So we'll start with the gaze up towards the ceiling and the knees are bent. Let's wiggle the toes a little bit just to access the feet. And let the back body get really heavy, imagining that if your body was one of those old-fashioned ink stamps, that it would be making an indentation onto your mat. So wherever those points of contact are, just allow those parts of your body to relax a little bit more, as if those indentations were becoming a little bit deeper. And if you haven't already done so, bring your awareness to your breath. So notice how your breath greets you straight off the bat. Is your breath expansive? Is the breath choppy? Does it feel spacious? Notice how your breath greets you. Because the way the breath behaves is somewhat indicative of what's going on in your nervous system at this moment. The breath is really the bridge we have to the nervous system. It's part of the nervous system, but it's one part of the nervous system we have access to and we have a little bit of control over. So just noticing the breath for many of us can be life-changing, because for most of us, it will allow the breath to begin to regulate on its own, just simply by noticing the breath. So I'll often spend a great deal of time at the beginning of class noticing the breath, because we've all come in from various experiences, and some people might be a little more stressed. Most people coming in have some level of stress, more than likely. So just spending a few moments on the breath is pretty useful at the beginning of every practice, even if you're doing it on your own. And then invite a gentle swaying of the legs. So we're not doing a full-blown windshield wipering of the legs. We're inviting some slow movement so the body can begin to explore sensation, and we can start tapping into that deeper felt sense as we begin this exploration. And then if it's comfortable, you can begin to allow that movement to become a little bit bigger. So the legs will go one way and the gaze goes the other way, keeping the arm on the side where the gaze is going a little bit heavy. So if the legs are going to the left and the gaze is going to the right, you're going to keep that right shoulder really anchored. And we're going to inhale everything to center, exhale the legs one way and the gaze the other way. Paying attention to the feet and trying not to allow the feet to slide all over your mat. Keeping some sense of groundedness. So the nervous system loves being grounded, having the energy a little less excited, so lowering the energy down the body. It likes predictability, it likes slow fluidity. So doing a few more. Gaze goes one way and legs go the other way. And when the top leg, the inside of the foot on the top leg, you can press a little bit into that big toe side. So if the legs are going to the right, it's the left big toe, and that could accentuate the stretch of the back. So this is still pretty gentle. Let's do one more to the right and left, finishing on the left. And then when you come back to center, if it's comfortable for you, hug your knees in towards your shoulders and just start by rocking from side to side. And then come back to center and place your hands right on top of your kneecaps and begin to make slow circles, moving the knees in opposite directions. So this is different than moving the knees in unison. So notice if you automatically went to moving the knees in unison, and we're going to do that in a moment so you'll see the difference. But when we move in this way, it allows the hips to become a little more open, and we get circulation deep into the hip joint, accessing the hip flexors and the psoas muscles, which are part of the hip flexor family, getting some lubrication and circulation and energy there. And then change the direction so you're going the other way. Making the circles nice and big. Taking your time always. Noticing what sensations present themselves to you as we do this. There might be a little achiness in the hips. That's just your psoas muscles saying hello. And then let's bring the knees together, and now we'll move the knees in unison. And this is a little different target. So see if you can notice if there's a difference from moving the knees in this manner versus moving the knees in opposite directions. This gets more into the sacrum and the SI joints. And then change the direction so you're moving the knees the other way. And see if this direction feels any different. And then bring the knees back to center. Let's go ahead and separate the knees and circle the feet. So you might see a theme here, and the theme being that we're getting into the joints of the body, which is how I start most practices nowadays, just because it's important. And then change the direction so you're circling the other way. And then let's go ahead and lower the feet to the floor. You can bring your arms back into a cactus position or out to the side or down by your side. Knees and feet are hips distance apart, and we're going to get more into the spine in a movement called spinal undulation. So on the inhale, press into the balls of the feet, lift the heart up. Imagine you can slide your hand underneath your back, because you should be able to a certain degree. Maybe some of you have a bigger arch and you can slide the whole hand under there. On your exhale, you're going to press into your heels and flatten the back. So we inhale and lift the heart. Exhale, press into the heels and flatten. And then just move at your own pace. Lifting the heart on the inhale, releasing the back on the exhale. Taking your time. Notice if your neck wants to play. The chin might come down and move up, depending on the movement. Again, the body's one big integrated system. And we'll do this for a few more breaths. We could actually do this for quite a while, and it would be beneficial. Just opening up the spine, getting circulation flowing, releasing any stagnation. If you have issues with your back, then you can pull the belly button back towards the spine, and that's going to help you. So always your choice. Good. And then come back to neutral. So keeping that spine in that neutral, rounded low back, very subtle, not arching of the back like we were just doing. And bring your hands down on your thighs, slide them down towards the pelvis, and just push the legs away from you, just getting a little bit of traction in the low back. And then release that effort, and we're going to pedal the knees forward and back. This is going to access our SI joint. So push your left knee forward. The left hip is going to lift. The right leg's not doing much. It's not a rocking from side to side. It's coming forward and back as much as you can. It's like mimicking walking. And then push the right knee forward, and then lower the right hip. And I'm keeping my hands on my thighs so you can get a better indication of what we're trying to do here. So even though the legs will move from one side to the other a little bit, the intention is to move the knees forward and back and not from side to side like a windshield wiper, like we did a moment ago. This is different objective, different target. And this can be really helpful for SI joint issues. Good, and we'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then lower your hands down by your side. You're going to have the knees and feet hips distance apart. On the inhale, press your feet into the floor to lift the hips up. On the exhale, reach up towards the ceiling with the palms facing each other and roll down one vertebrae at a time. So we're going to do this a few times. You're pulling the shoulder blades away from each other as we lower the back. On the inhale, we press into the feet, we lift the hips. Exhaling, we reach up towards the ceiling, pulling the blades apart, lower down one vertebrae at a time, and then lower the hands down by your side. Let's do this a few more times. Keep your gaze straight up towards the ceiling to protect your neck. So lifting on the inhale, on the exhale, we roll down one vertebrae at a time, eventually releasing the hands. Let's call this next one the last one. And then we roll down. We lower the arms down by your side, and then extend your legs long and just pause for a moment. Just checking in with the nervous system, checking in with the spine, checking in with the breath. And seeing how just that little bit of movement, how that's impacting sensation in the body. Some of you may have the capacity to feel the energy flowing. It might present as tingling or pins and needles, warmth, kind of like a humming in the body. And then let's go ahead and turn the toes so they're facing up. Hands are going to be on your hips. And just like we were pedaling the knees a moment ago, we're going to slide the hips up and down. And we're going to do that by lengthening one foot at a time. So bring your awareness to your left foot. And then push that left foot away as you hike the right hip up. There's going to be a tendency to want to bend the knees here, but keep the leg straight and then push the right leg forward, and then just alternate sides where you're pushing one foot forward at a time, hiking one hip up at a time. It's almost as if you're trying to shorten one leg as you lengthen the other leg. And we'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then let's go ahead and bend the knees once again. Have your arms down by your side. And let's inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And inhale. And exhale. One more time, inhale. And exhale. And take your hands down by your side and push your fingers down towards your feet as if you're pulling the shoulders away from your ears. On the inhale, roll the shoulders forward and up. Exhale, pull those shoulders back and down and scrub the shoulder blades against your mat. Moving with your breath, big circles. Really scrubbing the shoulders as you pull them down on your blanket. And then change the direction so you're going the other way. Take your time. Nicely done. And then just relax the arms down by your side. Let's take the right ankle and place it on the left thigh, coming into a figure four. So you could stay here with the left foot on the floor, or if it's available, you could hug the left knee in towards the left shoulder. Keeping the right toes flexed, and then just drop the legs over to the left, any amount, accentuating the stretching in the right hip area. So the outside of the right hip, you might feel it saying hello right now. It has a tendency to do that. You can come as little or as much over to the left as you'd like. And then shift the legs back to center. Extend the left leg up, and maybe you can walk the hands up the leg any amount, or you can always keep the knee bent, or you can interlace the hands behind the left thigh too. That's always an option. Or walking the hands up the leg like you're climbing a tree. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Let's release the left leg. You're going to land your left foot, uncross the right leg, and then we'll come into our figure four on the other side. So crossing the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Some of us will stay here with the right foot on the floor. If you're going on, you're hugging that right knee in towards the right shoulder and dropping those legs over to the right any amount, opening up that left hip. And then making your way back to center, let's extend the right leg up. So you could either interlace the hands behind the thigh or climb the right leg like you're climbing a tree. Always your choice. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. You're going to release the right leg, bend your right knee, lower the foot down, uncross, land your foot, and then let's interlace our hands behind our head. We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. See if we can access the elbows on the floor. So pressing the elbows into the floor. On the inhale, we're going to lift our heart just like we did a little while ago. Exhale, pull the belly into the spine, lift your head and shoulders up and squeeze the blades together. On the inhale, we open and lift the heart, landing the elbows. Exhale, crunch, like an old-fashioned sit-up. Now you can stay here, coming straight up, or you can come into a twist. Right elbow to left knee, and then left elbow to right knee. Taking your time. And you can make the twist a little bit deeper with each iteration. Make sure you're pulling the elbows together as you come up. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. And then let's bring the knees up and the elbows up like a cannonball and hold for 3, 2, 1. Legs go to the right, arms go to the left for 3, 2, 1. Change sides. Legs go left, arms go right for 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. Lower the feet down, lower the shoulders down, release your hands. Let's actually extend the legs long and pause once again. And checking into that felt sense. Let's inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And inhale. And exhale. And one more time, inhale. And exhale. Let's take the right foot on the inside of the left thigh and bring the right knee out to the side. And just slide the right foot up the inline of the left inseam. Just slide it up and down. Just working on opening the hip a little bit more. Just sliding it up and down. Straightening the leg completely if you can, and then bringing the foot up as far as is comfortable for you. Take your time. Let's do 2 more. And the next one will be the last one. And then pause, release any muscular energy, just to let the legs relax. So if you can see if there's a difference on one side versus the other side. And then let's do the other side. So left foot goes on the inseam of the right leg, and we just slide it up and down. We take our time. And we see if this side behaves differently. Let's do 2 more. And last one. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Have the knees wide. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. A little short check-in. And then once again, we're going to bring the hands behind the head. Elbows go nice and wide. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, you're going to lift your head and shoulders up, squeeze elbows together, squeeze knees together. On the inhale, we open everything nice and wide. Exhale, closing like butterfly wings. And then opening those wings once again. And we'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then lower everything down. Let's hug the knees in towards the shoulders. Let's keep the knees wide. Staying here or transitioning into a happy baby variation. So grabbing the backs of the thighs, the ankles, or the feet, or keeping those knees hugged in. Taking a few breaths here. Coming to your edge. Playing with the edge of our happy baby pose. And then let's go ahead and release that effort. We're going to raise one arm above our head, roll onto our side, and then coming onto the belly with the toes tucked and the hands stacked, releasing the forehead down on the backs of the hands, and just pausing here for a moment. Actually, release the tops of the feet, shift the hips from side to side. And then walk your toes in, like you're walking your toes towards your nose. Push your heels back. Anchor your pelvis if that's comfortable for your pelvis. On your next inhale, press the hands and the forearms into the floor. Lift head and shoulders up. Exhale, we lower back down. On the inhale, we lift. Exhaling, we lower. Let's do a few more. Inhale and lifting. Exhale and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And let's call the next one the last one. And lower. And then release the tops of the feet. Place your hands underneath the shoulders. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Actively press the tops of the feet into the floor. And try not to have the feet lift. If they lift, they don't come up as high. We're going to anchor the pubic bone once again. And we're going to use the back muscles to lift us. So on the inhale, use your fingertips to pull your heart forward and up. Exhale, we lower. So some of us might not come as high if we're pressing into the hands. So next time you lift the hands up. See if you collapse. If you collapse, then that's where you should be. So staying honest. Exhale, we come down. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, lower. Let's do two more. On the inhale, we lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Then slide your forearms forward, coming into a sphinx. Tops of the feet are super active still. Anchor your pelvis. Use the bottoms of the hands or the palms of the hands and the forearms to serve as some traction. And then using that traction, see how far up the back you can pull this back bend, keeping the legs active. So this is a little more active than our typical Sphinx pose. And we're going to hold here for a few breaths. You can always slide the arms forward if that's too much on the back. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to lower down and take our time as we come up and back into a child's pose. So knees are going to go wide. Tops of the feet are going to land on your mat. You're going to lower your forehead down so it's touching your mat. Or you can stack your fists and have your head resting on your fists. But have your head resting on something. So you're taking the effort out of the neck and shoulders. Sending the breath into the kidney area. And then as you're ready, place your hands underneath your shoulders and let's transition to a seat. And I invite you to rub your palms together, generating some heat, and then rub the low back. That area we were just working on, the back area between the low back ribs and the top of the pelvis, getting some heat generated there. And you could even do that a couple of times if you'd like. Massaging the low back area. And then rubbing your hands together one more time. This time we're going to place the hands right over the heart, allowing the heat to penetrate. Have the hands stacked too. Don't have the fingers touching the heart. Make sure the palms are resting on the heart. Breathing in that energy, that healing energy into the heart. Creating space around the heart, nourishing, harmonizing. And And let's take the hands out in front of the heart. Inhale, pull the hands away. And exhale, bring the hands towards your heart. Imagine that this energy is flossing around the heart, cleaning out any stagnation, releasing anything that you no longer need. Moving the hands forward and back. You can close your eyes if you'd like. Tapping into that felt sense. Seeing what arises here. And then stack the hands once again. Seal it in the heart area. Letting your heart heal, receive nourishment. And then as you're ready, we're going to make our way onto our back, into our final rest. Arms by your side. See if you can have a little bit of space between the arms and the sides of the body. I like having my feet a little bit wider, just allowing the energy to flow a little more freely. And then letting the back body get heavy. It's the same way we started. As if your body was making an imprint on the mat. What would that shape look like? Can you relax the body even further to make a deeper imprint into your mat? Notice the breath. How is your breath greeting you now at the end of our practice? Has it changed? Then soften the feet. Relax all of the muscular energy in and around the feet. Soften the ankles. Relax your calves. Release the knees. Relax all of the muscles in the upper legs, so strong. Let the pelvis get heavy. Release all of the muscles that support the pelvis, both on the inside and surrounding areas of the pelvis. Soften the low back, the mid back, and the upper back. Soften the belly and the heart and the space that surrounds the heart. Let's soften the collarbones and the shoulders. Can you release the upper arms and the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, and the hands? Can you soften the shoulders and the throat? Maybe swallowing a couple of times. If you'd like, you can gently release the jaw by slowly opening and closing the mouth, softening the tongue, softening all of the muscles in your face, allowing the eyes to gently settle back into their sockets. Soften the ears, the forehead, the scalp, and the crown of the head. And as you inhale, inhale a sense of peacefulness. As you exhale, release anything that is no longer serving you. And we'll just rest here in silence for a few moments together. Begin to lengthen your breath. Invite movement back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Maybe circle the wrists and ankles. If it feels like it would be satisfying, you can extend the arms above your head, giving yourself a nice stretch. And then release your arms, bend the knees one at a time. Hug the knees in towards your shoulders. Give yourself a hug like you mean it. Raise one arm above your head. Roll onto your side. And let's pause here on our side. Just checking in once again with our heart and the breath, the nervous system. What is it telling you now? And then as you're ready, take your time and slowly make your way up to a seat. Let's inhale the arms out and up, palms touch above our head. As you exhale, lower your hands in front of your heart. And Anjali Mudra, the mudra of gratitude. Let's bow down towards our heart with gratitude for the practice and with gratitude for our bodies and all of the things we get to do in our bodies. And may any merits gained from our practice today benefit ourselves and all beings everywhere. Thank you all so much for showing up. I really appreciate you sharing your practice with me and your time with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you check out some of my other classes online. Namaste.